I have recorded today's activities, and I did actually get the roasting of the pig early today at 9 o'clock. So when you actually look at the YouTube of today's events, it's got a whole history of the day, including the roasting of the pig. So what time did you start this morning?
9 a.m.
Wow, early start.
Yeah.
How much sweat they would have lost that poor animal. Now, the lucky pants, always lucky pants.
This often happens with sporting people, you know. There's a lot of people, even in our day, they come to a line and they step over it. They won't step on the line. It's absolutely true. And Roy, I couldn't believe it because he's such a great person. He wanted to wear the same. If he won a match in the pants, he wanted to wear them the next match. Poor Joy's trying to wash these pants and get them ready. He had a roof full of pants that was given by his sponsor, but he wanted this. The pockets fell apart and the pants. And Joy said, "What am I going to do, Daphne?" I said, "I'm still trying to fix these pants." And that's absolutely true. For I think for 2 years he wore the same pair of pants every time he played a match. we are a weird mob.
Tis, I quite like that story when Daphne was telling me before, because a person that Sally Ann knows, and I know, I'm sure you do, a fellow by the name of Graham Campbell Ryder. And he was the person who effectively conceptualised the Queen Street Mall, which I'm sure you all are aware of. And he was also great friends with Roy. And when I was starting this tennis project off, I had interviewed Graham in relation to an Expo 88 project that I'd done. And I just come out of hospital and I was speaking to him about tennis, and he says, "Oh," I said, "you know, a really great mate of mine, Roy Emerson," this was before all this started. He says, "I went over to Roy's house, and he says his bar was bigger than my house." So yes, so it is amazing of the connections. I have no idea where that was going. It seemed a good story at the time. Now coming back to Daphne. Well, I think the story about the Davis Cup winning and the feet out the window is really good.
Well, it just compares to today, where you don't pay and you wonder why you're paying and you're getting millions of dollars, and I mean millions. You've got a great champion like Roy Emerson. We're at Milton, right? It's Trevor and I there, and we got I think it was a little green mini mine up there. We were really rich. And Troy's playing Davis Cup. He wins the Davis Cup. He wins the Davis Cup. I'm serious. And all the officials in those days got the cars. So official. All the officials get the cars, so they go all home, and then he's standing in the back of the court. And he's looking around. He hasn't got his car. He's got no car to take him. He's only won the Davis Cup. And so he looks over and he says, "Hey, Trev, will you give me a lift?" I mean, we've got this tiny little car, and we're always 6 foot, whatever. Anyway, "Oh yes, this Trevor," so over he comes, he climbs in the back, and his feet are hanging out the window. That's how the champion Davis Cup player went home to I swear. The great friends like Roy Emerson and Rod Laver and all them, Margaret Court and all them, and the great people that played for this country. When my husband came here, I honestly tell you, he was absolutely in awe of the men, because you would go anywhere in the world to play a tournament. As he said, you'd get to the quarterfinals and there were nothing but Australians to beat to try and win the tournament. And that's true. Who have we got today? Where have we gone wrong?
I think you can get the idea that Daphne is slightly feisty, and I can. When I was doing the tennis trial, and I had Sally Ann barracking for the Daphne Fancutt Amphitheatre, and then I had Daphne barracking for one of her former students, the Windy Turnbull Green, and I had Daphne barracking for the Faye Muller rebound wall, and all these tennis players all helping each other and going around. I never heard Daphne talk about her own experiences. And then we were doing some YouTubing, and she was talking about Mal Anderson and what a great guy he was. And then I turned off the camera, and lo and behold, Daphne's talking to a group of 4 or 5 people, and she starts to tell the story, a personal story, which was the only time I heard her telling a personal story about her own experiences, where she's playing on centre court, and the Queensland president decides that the females have had enough on centre court because the game was going on a little bit longer. And he wanted them off centre court, and he wanted them out in the back block, because that's where the females at this time. And so tell us the story of what you did to him and where you ended up the next day.
This is what I'm famous for, by the way. I'm famous for this. If you get the last great book that was written on Australian tennis, I'm in there. I'm in there for this. Not for winning the Queensland Open, not for doing this, not for doing that, not for doing anything else, but for taking on this gentleman. This gentleman was president of Tennis Queensland. He was also president of Tennis Australia. I'm a little nobody. He's a big president. He was about 6 foot tall and about 6 foot wide. His name was Big Bill Edwards, a very nice guy actually, and did a lot for tennis. Take nothing off that. But he decided the match before, the other women had played their semi-final, don't forget, my opponent. And my opponent and I were playing our semi-final. And we were sitting ready to walk out on the court. We were actually sitting ready to walk out. And around comes the person from the president and says to me, Daphne, president requests that you get up and go out onto court 7 and play your match out the back. And I looked at my opponent and I said, Mary, do you want to go out the back? She said, no, I don't want to go out the back. I said, I don't want to go out the back either. She said, what do we do? I said, well, if we sit here and say one word, smile at everybody, and just sit here, they've got to put us on here because we're supposed to be on their next match. Next minute, Big Bill jumps, he goes back and he said that she's not going to go out. So Big Bill jumps up, he falls down the stand, he was so huge, I think he broke his chair in half getting up. He comes round to me, and now he marches over to me and says, Daphne, you will get up now and you will go out the back and you will play this match. I want to watch the men's doubles. Oh. So Mary and I looked at him and we went, next morning, out comes the Courier Mail. Front page. This huge man. And these 2 little girls with boxing gloves on.